What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Clairvoyant D, and yeah, I'm back on YouTube making videos again. I'm sick right now, but it's not gonna stop me from making content. So basically, let's get started with what I have to talk about. So the state of Call of Duty right now is really strange. There's a lot going on with how people are looking at Infinity Ward, looking at the game and saying like, okay, there's a lot going on with Infinity Ward, and then there's this tension between them and the community. So I actually, let me just start from the beginning. Yeah, you're looking at the gameplay on the video right now. It's a lot of Call of Duty 4 gameplay from myself, and this is where it started for me, basically. Call of Duty 4 is like a really special place in my heart. I met a lot of really cool people playing this game. It's just a fucking fantastic game. I don't really know what to say about it. I remember playing it for the very first time, and I knew like, okay, I love this game. Like, it just clicked with me immediately. I was like, this game is just so much fun. And I played, summer after summer, and I met a lot of cool people, such as like, Agony. It's one of the first people I actually met on Xbox, and from there on I met like, known players like Zergriz and Useless Sniper and all these other guys, and I appreciate all of them for teaching me stuff and being amazing people during that time. But basically, fast forward a little bit, playing all these different games, and you never get that same feeling ever again as you did before, basically, right? The nostalgic factor from Call of Duty 4 is nothing greater in this world at all. It's pretty much a deep passion within me, and nothing just clicks the same way as that game does. But there is something in the back of my head where I'm like, I still love Call of Duty a lot. Like, I love Call of Duty, and I don't want to see it fail. So when I see a lot of people bitching and complaining about, what they need to do as the developers to make the game better, there's some things I can agree with. So we're going to go over that subject right now. I keep seeing his list pop up, and basically here's what it says. So it says hashtag fix Modern Warfare, and it has 15 different things on this list, which is a lot. So let's this is from the beginning of the game, at launch. So a lot of things were different at that time, and here's some of the things that I do agree with on here. So it says remove skill-based matchmaking. So that right now is a big problem, and I do think that a lot of people are turned off about it, but it's not necessarily something that I think is destroying the game to the point where I don't want to play the game like a lot of people do. I don't mind playing at my skill level or whatever. Like, it's not something that makes me cry and can't sleep at night. It doesn't keep me up at night. So I don't think that they're ever going to change that. They said they're not going to change it. I think people just have to just deal with it for now and see maybe if they do change it in the future. But I think maybe when ranked play comes out, it might change everything, and we might see some easier games going into the rest of the season. Now, number 2, let us vote for maps. I could definitely agree with that. I don't know why they took that out of the game. It is the dumbest shit, and they stated that this makes a big difference and it's a good change, but bro, I'm telling you, when you can actually vote for a map, it is the best fucking thing in the world. No one wants to play a lot of the maps that are in the game right now, and that's pretty bad, and Infinity Ward's got a good track record, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I'm going to bring up some maps that you guys are probably thinking like, yeah, we need to have those back, but let us vote for maps, please. Infinity Ward, please. Voting for maps is so crucial. Like, I could think of 10 maps right now that are so much better than the maps that we have now, but I'm not hating on all the maps though. There are some good maps in the game, so I'm not going to hate on all of them. So real quick, let's look at some of the maps on the list that I have that are some of the best maps in the game. In all of the Modern Warfares, I have like a list of 32 maps. And they've already, at this time of the release of this video, they brought back Crash. Now, the changes to Crash, they're not terrible, but they're kind of weird. I don't think that they should have put some of the features in there, like the big open spot next to the blue room. It's just a weird spot, and I don't think we needed a head glitch there. It just does not make the map play well. I don't like it. But on the other hand, I mean, you know, adding the doors to the rest of the map is kind of like whatever. I mean, it's just a feature in the game that they just really love. Apparently, they just love adding doors and whatever. I mean, hey, just go ahead and keep the doors in. Fuck it. But yeah, adding like those little rooms to the map that just don't need to be there, and they just should have kept it the way it was. The map is great, but other maps like let's say Vacant is coming back, Shipment's coming back. Overgrown is a map that I think could probably be cool. It's one of my favorite maps. I don't think a lot of people like that map, but also another map is Countdown. Countdown's pretty cool as well. There was really good spawn traps in that game, but not to where like you could never get out of it. But I mean, for people who make, you know, a lot of content like montages, Countdown was a really good map, and it was really fun too, and it worked well on pretty much every game mode. And I noticed that some of the maps in Call of Duty right now, they're actually not that bad, because if you play them on certain game modes, they're pretty good. Search and Destroy seems to be like the strongest game mode for a lot of maps. They all work well for search, but a lot of them don't work well with the respawn game modes. And that's, I think, everyone's frustration right now. It's like they don't like the spawns, and they don't like the way the game feels like flow wise, because when you spawn in again, you're just getting fucked over from the last time you spawned in, and it doesn't feel good. So I can understand that. So looking at some other maps as well, Showdown was a good one. Strike is awesome. Crossfire is awesome. And, you know, those are pretty much just like the Call of Duty 4 maps that I really enjoyed. Now, moving on to other Modern Warfares, I think that Modern Warfare 2 had quite a few maps actually that were pretty good looking back on it now. I didn't have the best time on Modern Warfare 2. That game was kind of it's a big question mark on my head about that game. Not a bad game, but, you know, I'll save that for another video. But looking on this list, I have Afghan, High Rise, Invasion, Karachi, Rundown, Scrapyard, which are pretty big influencing maps to me. The gameplay was solid on these maps. I think that the flow was great. I like maps that have a good depth when it comes to, if you're running around the map, there's always areas that you could kind of take advantage in. Whereas like I hate maps where you're kind of running on flat ground, and then you're just in an open area where you just get picked off from some guy just camping in a window or some shit. And I know that that's a lot of people's problems with the maps that are in Modern Warfare right now, is that they feel like they're just getting picked off from windows or across the street, and it does really get annoying. So I wish maps like this, like, you know, High Rise, for example, would come back and just fuck the game up. I think it'd be a big game changer if they put this map in the game. And then moving on to some more maps, Skid Row, which was kind of underrated in my opinion, was fire. Subbase was fire. Everybody wants Russ to come back. Terminal's probably going to come back, I believe. And then, you know, moving on to like MW3, I think Dome, Fallen, Hard Hat, Resistance, Lockdown, Underground, and Mission are all going to be really good maps that they should add to the game. That's 32 maps in total that I have on the list. I didn't even name every single one of them, but I think that if Infinity Ward has a track record of making amazing maps, and they can make 32 fucking maps that I can enjoy in the game, I think that they can probably pull something out of their ass like they did with Shoot House and make proper maps again for the fucking game. I think it's possible. I don't know what they're doing right now, bro. I honestly can't even tell you, but I want to see them do well. I just want to see them make some maps, or put all these maps in the game. If they just put every single one of these maps on this list in the game would be fucking perfect. Straight up. I wouldn't even give a fuck about 725 or any of the other bullshit. If they put all these maps in the game, like by the, end of, its actual life cycle or whatever, I would be actually ecstatic. So yeah, I think they should really put these maps in the game. Just my opinion though. Now moving on to the make score streaks default. I don't agree with that. I think that kill streaks are just fine. It's like old school Call of Duty, you know what I'm saying? You get kill streaks, that's the name of the game. I mean, if you're doing good, you're doing good. Score streaks don't, to me, it never really stopped people from really camping. I think that the games actually just stopped people from camping. Like, you couldn't really camp in Black Ops 2, or, Black Ops 1 you could for sure, but in Black Ops 2 it was a totally different game. And I think the way that the generation was accelerating into the next Call of Duty, it changed a lot of players' play type. A lot of players did adapt. I know people are gonna troll me for saying this, but they did adapt to the gameplay at that time. Whereas, like, before, when Call of Duty was just getting started, obviously a lot of people there was probably some veterans from Call of Duty 1 and 2, but people like me, who was like 14 years old at the time, or 13, whatever, that game was brand new for me, so my gameplay was different from a lot of other people. And you meet people in other lobbies, and you socialize with all these players, and then you kind of you rub off on each other. So that gameplay style that I developed was from meeting other players. I think that we should stay in the same lobby as everyone else in the lobby. Should just stay in the lobby. It should not break apart, after a game or two. I just don't think it's cool. I don't think it helps the game at all, because socializing is a big part of why the communities in gaming are so big. I've met some of my best friends in the entire world. Like, I meet them in real life now and hang out with them from gaming, and that all starts with playing in the same lobby, or developing a friendship or even a rivalry in some sense, like in a game where you see them game after game after game, and that's what makes it fun. I don't think that should be taken out. I think that's something that's crucial. I think that's on this list too, but I don't think that they should be taking that kind of context out of the game. That's really important to me and to a lot of other people. So going back to the score streak thing though, I think that maybe they should take that as a press R, or whatever you guys are playing on, press that key or button to change that to a score streak. I don't think it should be a perk. I don't know why it's a perk. It's a really dumb decision as well. I don't know. It's just been a lot of weird decisions that they made perk wise, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Now I'm gonna move down a little bit on the list because some of these things are relevant now. Nerf ghosts or bring back ghosts. I actually we could talk about that. I think that ghost is kind of strong right now. Ghost is definitely one of those perks that have always been like, you either use it or you don't, and then it transferred into, okay, the game's meta is different now. There's no stopping power, there's no juggernaut, and there's nothing else in between that makes it to where perk 2 is a crucial perk for 1 or 2 perks. Now Ghost is a crucial perk, because with the way the game is, weapon balancing wise, and all these different features with the gunsmith, and how they adapted to the way the gunplay is just so much different now. I think that Ghost is like a must-use perk, unless you're trying to streak and then you want to use hardline, or something that's going to benefit you in a different way. Ghost is definitely a problem. I mean, you turn on a UAV, you don't see shit. You ain't see no red dots on the map. So I think that's a problem for a lot of people, because they're like, this is the only perk that's worth using. So it creates frustration for players who want to go around and chase red dots and go kill people. And yeah, I can see that might be an issue too. Now the callouts and the footsteps, they already fixed that stuff, but a lot of that stuff on the list is pretty much I think I've talked about it. So moving past that, looking at Call of Duty right now, I can kind of sympathize with the community, but I'm gonna make a bigger video on what I think about Call of Duty right now in its entirety, and I'm gonna, talk about the history of Call of Duty and everything that I think is important for players to notice that may make you think, okay, Call of Duty is actually not in that terrible of a state right now. And a lot of things I think players don't realize have been in the game for a long time. And like, the whole camping thing, I don't get why people think that camping is just this brand new fucking thing that ruins games completely, or, all these players who are brand new and, coming from Fortnite and stuff like this that have never played Call of Duty. This might be their first time. All of this stuff is nothing new to me. I've been playing Call of Duty for a long ass time, like 12 years, 13 maybe. And I don't think that it's that big of a deal. I just don't. I think that a lot of this is going to be alleviated whenever rank play comes out. And then, they do a lot of changes to the game. But I can't really say that I think that Call of Duty is in a terrible place right now. I think that, yeah, the minor changes are going to help the game a lot if they ever do them. Make a dead silence a perk and touching up on some things in the gameplay. I think that's all I pretty much have to say for this video, but I hope you guys can respond in the comments. Tell me what you think. There's a lot going on with Call of Duty right now. Infinity Ward's under fire. We're going to see what happens in the future, though. I think this is going to be something that is worth talking about even a month later. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you watched the video all the way to the end, I appreciate it. Drop a like, dislike, doesn't matter. I just want to hear everyone's feedback on this video. So see you in the next one.